Hi friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti, and the computer is as sick as I am. I don't know what's happening with this computer, but hopefully it will start working better soon. Please? Hold on, let me check. Oh, it's Chrome. Google Chrome is having a crisis. Hang on. Why? Why are you doing this? Google Chrome. What is your deal? Let me close this and see what happens. I kind of need that to be opened, but let's see. I'm still kind of sick. There it goes. Wow, the YouTube window is jacked up. Oh my god. Let's have a count. Nope, it's still... There's still something going on here. Hold on. Hold on. I think I need to restart Google Chrome, because it's just eating all the memory. Hold on. I'm gonna lose chat. I'm gonna lose everything. But I don't have a choice. I can't have this running like this. Sorry, guys. Farts. Force quitting Google Chrome. Alright. Alright. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, Google Chrome was just hammering on the computer. OBS Studio Mail install. Why is this installer running? What the hell? Get out of here. Alright, cool. Let's fire Chrome back up so I can get the chat window opened again. Restore, and you guys are coming back. All right, cool. Give this a couple seconds here. All right, hold on. Now I gotta get back into the live streaming window so that I have some data on the stream itself. Data. Ugh. Is it doing it again? Please no. Please stop it. Oh, come on now. Please. Don't do this. Not like this. Not like this. It's kind of, I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Hey, yeah, we're just gonna hang out. I still don't feel great. I didn't get hardly any sleep last night. So yeah, sorry, another low-key kind of stream, but we got some shit to talk about, and Q&A stream as always. And I have 6 TinyWhoop batteries charged, so I can fly around if you guys want me to. But hey, here's something kind of interesting. Chris Rosser did a bunch more motor testing, and man, is it interesting. So we're going to look at that first. My brain just does not work. Mayank, thank you for subscribing. Sorry, I'm brain dead today. So I lost a ton of the chat, but I saw that... Wait, hold on. Let me check in here. Hey, I can check it in here. Riot9, thank you for the $4 super chat, getting the super chat train started. Kevin Sumner, thank you for the 10. He says all aboard. Riot9 says first meant to be 420, but I split shit on my keys. But I spilled stuff on my keys. Thank you very much, Riot9. Thank you very much, Kevin Sumner. In the chat, I don't know how far back this goes, but Northern Tier, Riot9, Brandon's Baked Beans, Gusto FPV, 413, Flush FPV, Michael D. Mad Hukar, Espander, Northern Tier RC, Roscoe, C-Mac, McConnell Studios is in the house, Michael D, Riot9, Stream Elements, TK, Andy, 413 again, Aaron, Justin, 413 again, Barry, Mike, RC Tom, Michael D, June Loco, Abraham, Building with Logan, Lambo Drives Zambo, EBR, what's up, friends? If you want the Gangly Man to say your name, you got to get in at some point when I might be able to get through the chat. If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up on orange. This is not COVID, thankfully. This is just a regular old sickness. RC Roscoe says, what's up? RC Tom says, hey, wish you a nice stream. And W Lan, Abraham says, gross, don't cough on me. Riot9 says, close Discord. Michael D says, reboot the Mac Mini. We'll be here. Ripper FPV says, hi. Aaron FPV says, as soon as you're about to fire up Chrome, it started. Kevin James says, you're good now. All right, cool. Good to go. And Spander says, Chrome is going to be killing ad blockers soon as well, so F it. The only ad blocker I use is YouTube, incidentally. Stubby Borgman says, which is better for whoops, props in or props out? It depends on what you're going to be doing with your whoops, in my opinion, Stubby. Props out on a whoop is going to give it better... it's going to give it better cornering performance. So basically, I think props out is best for racing on whoops. I run props out for freestyle, and it's completely fine because I don't do huge dives with it. The only thing that I'm going to say this. The only thing that props in seems to do better is shedding altitude. So if you fly spots where you do like big dives. And I do like dives up in the living room. You'll see in a little bit. Like I dropped the ceiling's pretty high up there. It's probably like 20-foot ceiling. And I'll drop from the 20 feet ceiling all the way to the ground and catch it right on the ground. And it's still completely fine, props out. Thank you for the sub, Barry. But if I was gonna go do like a building dive, or I'm tempted to say just fly the thing outside. I might go to props in. But yeah, and I also, in fairness, I've not experimented a ton with props in. The whole props in, props out thing was, Christ, 5-6 years ago. Everybody went from props in to props out. And the big advantage to props out at that time on non-ducted rigs, we were thinking that if you would eat a branch in the middle, the props out would push that branch away. Also, if you fly really close to the ground, props out would not throw shit on the camera if you were to get a little bit too close to the ground and let the prop tips touch dirt and shit. The only problem with props out is that if you're upside down and you turtle mode, it becomes props in, and that could sometimes throw dirt on the lens. But when do you want to throw dirt on the lens? When you're flying or when you're turtle moding? You could argue that your turtle mode, when you turtle mode, you're always upside down in the dirt or, you know, shit. And so, yeah, some people chose to stay props in, but 6 in one, half a dozen the other. With TinyWhoops, the props in, props out thing was a fix back in the brushed motor days when we didn't have enough power. And what would happen... Look what I got, yo. Oh, the ghost whoop! Look at my ghost whoop, yo! It's the ghost whoop. This is a brand new... Hold on. Logitech G Hub is not running, so this camera looks like complete ass. This is the brand new Happy Model Mobula 6 canopy in clear. You can get them on AliExpress, or TinyWhoop.com has a couple up on their website. And yeah, Jesse was cool enough to send me 2 of them. And I'm going to be doing a couple of TinyWhoop builds. One to start, and then I'm going to do a second one. One of the TinyWhoop builds that I'm going to do to sell is going to have my other clear canopy. So stay tuned for that. That'll be like this week, I'm thinking. There you go. Now the camera doesn't look like ass. Isn't that cool looking? Look at that. Ghostly. So I've got the all black and then the ghostly one. Isn't that fun? No? Well, screw you. I'm thinking of changing the I'm thinking the ghostly build is gonna get the blue motors, the light blue 32,000 kV motors. We'll see though. We'll see. Hey. Okay, hey. So, with TinyWhoops, back in the days of brushed motors, when we had, those were back in the days where the brushed motors, they just didn't make enough power. They just weren't powerful enough. And that was the biggest problem with TinyWhoops, was a lack of power. Nowadays, with these crazy high kV brushless motors, that's not nearly as much of a problem. You could argue that it's not a problem at all anymore. I do still see some benefits though. Like even these 32,000 kV motors, there's still a ways to. We still have a little farther to go. But yeah, back in the brushed motor days, when you would So picture you're flying and you push roll and you push yaw. Left yaw. Yeah. You push left roll and left yaw. And that's how you do orbits, basically. That's how you make the rig do this motion. This is not just yaw. If you just push yaw, it does that. You got to push yaw and roll. I meant to say roll just now. If you just push roll, it just does that. If you just push yaw, it just does that. And it just keeps flying straight ahead. So when you coordinate your sticks and you push, in this case, left roll and left yaw, you ask this rear motor to do a lot of work because it's trying to both yaw and roll. With props in, this motor has to control the yaw and the roll. So this motor gets asked to do a ton of work if your props in. And back in the days of brushless motors, you would saturate this motor, heat saturate this motor, and the rig would sometimes fall out of the sky. Because you would be asking for it to do more than it can handle. By going to props out, the yaw, the left yaw in this case, is now handled by this motor, and the left roll is always going to be handled by this motor. So by going to props out, if you're doing this really hard, which is what racers do, right? Like racers do really tight turns and they ask for a lot. Props out is probably going to be better for racing because it's going to share the love between these two motors to handle both yaw and roll in that specific scenario where you're asking it to do really hard tight turns. For freestyle, you're probably not going to be, I mean, unless you're wanting to do the type of freestyle that makes people's eyes bleed, right? And like is not cinematic at all, super skateboardy, right? Then maybe. But here's the interesting thing about props in that we recently learned from Mark Spatz. With ducted rigs, ducted or prop guarded rigs, mainly ducted rigs though, and that's what this is. This is a proper duct. Like it's just barely tall enough, in my opinion, to be a proper duct. With ducted rigs, and this also I think applies to like low authority rigs, like low power to weight ratio rigs, which these are. Mark Spatz figured this out with CiottiWhoops. CiottiWhoops have an issue in dropping altitude. When they drop altitude and there's a lot of turbulent air moving all around because there's all this ducting and there's all kinds of garbage, CiottiWhoops have do this thing notoriously where they either bobble around when you try to drop altitude, or if you have your PID loop cranked up and you have enough power to fight those bobbles, because that's what the PID loop wants to do. The PID loop never wants to bobble like this. That's error. And as long as your powertrain has enough horsepower, it'll fight those bobbles and it'll prevent the bobbles. The way that it does that is with thrust and breaking the motors down. Well, it can only break the motors down a little bit when you're zero throttle trying to drop altitude, so it mainly uses thrust. So if your PID tune is up to the task, when you're dropping altitude in a CiottiWhoop, instead of bobbling around like the shittier ones, the motors will ramp up, and you won't get the bobbles, but it also won't drop altitude in some cases at all. In some cases, you can try to drop altitude, and the air is so turbulent that it'll just ramp up, and you'll just start flying forward. And then you'll put the nose down more, and then it'll start to lose altitude, but then it's charging forward, and it's this really weird thing, and you can hear it. You can literally hear it on a CiottiWhoop. Like, you'll chop off the throttle, it'll be nice and quiet for a second, and then you just hear like, and it's because it's using the thrust to get it set to fight against the turbulent air and the is it prop wash? It's sort of prop wash. It's it's sort of prop wash. It's sort of just flying a rig that aerodynamically is a nightmare. Like rigs with prop guards are a complete nightmare. Like you put it nose down like that and try to drop it. Like there's all kinds of nonsense going on with the air. And that's what causes the rest of the rig to run and wobble around, and the PID loop is there to fix that. So what Mark Spatz noticed and put a video out, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, is that for whatever reason, if you go back to props in, because by now everybody has swapped to props out. If you go back to props in on a CiottiWhoop, or just in my testing on a rig with a bad aerodynamic situation, prop guarded or ducted rigs, it drops altitude a lot better. There's just something about the column of air that comes off of a props in quad that drops through the altitude better, especially when the rig has a challenging aerodynamic situation. But here's what I find to be really interesting. If we think back to early days of Betaflight, the Betaflight devs chose props in as the default. We've had to reverse it, and we've had to go to props out manually in Betaflight. My guess is, in the early days of Betaflight, when the quads were kind of a mess, we didn't have good motors, we didn't have good propellers, and basically, early days of Betaflight, the quads were very underpowered, kind of like CiottiWhoops, or kind of like CiottiWhoops, kind of like TinyWhoops. They chose props in. They didn't just they didn't just flip a coin. They specifically chose props in. So my opinion is that lower authority rigs, authority is another confusing word for like power to weight ratio, basically. Lower power to weight ratio rigs, for some reason, aerodynamically perform better with props in. I've got a lightweight 5-inch cinematic rig that's on dead cat arms, and when it carries the really heavy GoPro Hero 10, it has a little bit of trouble dropping altitude. So I'm actually going to move that 5-inch rig to props in, and I bet you that fixes it. So the props in, props out thing, what I find really funny is, like, it was hot fucking news, like, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Everybody was talking about it. Oh, you still fly props in? You're such a douchebag. Go props out, you dick. Well, now, and that was back in the days that we started to get really solid powertrains. Like, when everybody was going to props out was when we kind of figured out what the right motor size, what the right KV, some really good propellers came out. We were starting to switch from 4S to 6S. I find it really hysterical. And then that kind of went away, right? And like as of probably 3 years ago, everybody was flying props out. Like, just, oh, I set my rig up, I changed it to props out. Like, that was just what you did. That's what absolutely everybody did, and there was kind of nobody left flying props in. And I find it absolutely hysterical that we're back. We're back to, and I love that. I really do, because it's free, and on my CiottiWhoops, it is a night and day difference. Like, night and day difference. Big difference. My CiottiWhoops are set up, they fly really good as it is. They're very lightweight, they're dialed in, and yeah, they fly really, really, really good. I was shocked at the difference switching to props in, because I was already completely happy with the way that they flew, but oh my god, like, if you've got a CiottiWhoop, get it to props in. Here's the other thing. The main advantage of props out, which is that if a stick comes in, it's going to get pushed away. On a ducted rig, the ducts are doing that work for you. So on a ducted rig, the only reason to run props out is if you're racing. And you might not even need, like, I still think there is a benefit, because it's going to share. The reason why I did such a long explanation of this is because there's a chance with racing that it is still worth it. I would love for Doc, are you in the chat? Are any of the fast TinyWhoop racers in the chat that were like at Whooptopia, or just... I'll leave it to you to determine whether or not you're a proper fast TinyWhoop racer. I would love a proper fast TinyWhoop racer to do a comparison, props in versus props out. I don't like it. I don't like racing. I got that out of my system back with cars. But yeah, I would love a TinyWhoop racer that's really consistent to do a test in versus out. I'll bet you that props out is faster because of what I was talking about, where the inside rear motor, the inside rear motor is going to when your props out, the inside rear motor handles yaw, the outside rear motor handles roll. So I do think that in a racing scenario, props out is still going to be better. But for freestyle, I kind of think that props in might be better, because what if you want to do it, like, this is a freestyle TinyWhoop. What if I want to take this out and do a big dive with it? I'm not going to remember to change to props in. So yeah, and I have like made the change and then flown it around here, and I don't really see a difference. But yeah, I kind of want to change these all to props in. I think when next time I have to change propellers on a TinyWhoop, or next time I'm doing a TinyWhoop build, I think I'm going to switch it over to props in, like kind of from now on, because I've had all these thoughts kind of running around in my head, but now that I like kind of lay them all out and really think about them, for me personally, I don't see a reason to keep this thing props out, because I'm not going to put this thing into the one scenario where props out is going to help, which is really tight turns. I just don't do that. I keep my stick movements as quiet and as small as possible to fly kind of sort of cinematically. So there you go. There's a big long answer to a little short simple question. It's a good question though. And it's nice for me personally to talk this shit out sometimes, because I'll have all these random thoughts in different parts of my brain or whatever, and then when you guys ask the question and I pull them all together, sometimes it's like me making a pros and cons list. So yeah, good question, Stubby. RC Tom says you're drinking with JB last night. Was Joshua drinking last night? Buried Alive says feel better brother. Thanks to Buried Alive. I get it. I see what you did there. Kevin Sumner says, shouldn't turtle mode OSD arrows help mitigate the prop throwing dirt on the camera, since it tells you which motors aren't in the dirt? I didn't even know that was a thing. But here's just something to know about turtle mode. When your quad is upside down, it's typically not perfectly level. It's typically sat on one side or the other. The side that's down, don't spin those props up. Like when you're sitting in there in your goggles, you'll be able to see if the left side is high or the right side is high. So only spin the high side propellers. I've never had a problem with this, but apparently people do. Just give it like a second and just kind of think about it, because here's the other thing. Spinning the propellers that are on there, I've never had an issue throwing dirt in the camera, turtle moding, but that's the complaint from people. And I've always been like, why are you... like, I don't want to make it feel like an ass. Like, it's... I don't want to be mean and be like, why would you spin the propeller that's in the dirt? Just don't do that. But I digress. But yeah, that was always the argument for people staying props in. It's probably just they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to change all their rigs over. And they probably don't want to be wrong. But yeah, I've never really understood that. Speaking of turtle mode, don't go crazy in turtle mode. Be gentle in turtle mode. It'll save your ESC. In turtle mode, it's not an on-off switch. There is like, it is analog. So don't just do this in turtle mode, because this puts all the voltage to that ESC channel, and if the prop is blocked, that is really hard on your ESC. Like really, really, really hard on your ESC. Just real gently. Admittedly, there is a big dead spot. Well, you know what? I think there's a way to change that dead spot in the CLI. Hold on. I think I saw this in the CLI at some point, and I wanted to mess around with it, but I didn't. So let's pull it up, because I think a lot of people think that it's all or nothing. Either they're just in a hurry, or they haven't like softly pushed into it, because yeah, there's a huge dead spot, but then eventually you do get to a point in your stick throw where another one, come on now, I don't want to have to update everything again. So let's see. So wait, no, it's not crash. It's flip. Here, so look, crash flip expo, crash flip motor percent. What if I just do get flip? So get flip. Crash flip motor percentage equals 0. And that when it's 0, I think that's it's full power. So it'll give you full power in turtle mode. That's what crash flip motor percent means. Crash flip expo 35. This might be it. OSD warning crash flip. That's a good one. That just when you flip into turtle mode, it'll tell that on your warnings in your OSD, it tells you. OSD flip arrow position. I guess this is what Kevin was talking about. I've never seen this, though. But this crash flip expo equals 35. I wonder... Let's change it to 0. And let's really quick see what that does. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to type set, space, and then paste. And I'm going to change 35. I'm going to make it 1. Sometimes 0 turns stuff off. So I'm just going to make it 1. And I'm going to hit save. And let's see what that does. What I'm hoping that does is remove the massive dead spot from the center of the stick travel. That would be cool. I've never really understood why they did that. I guess my guess is that it's a safety thing. They don't want you to accidentally bump the right stick and have it go ham. I think that's what it does. Because now, and we're going to put it the other way and confirm that, but now, just listen. Just listen to when, look at my stick travel, and listen to when the motor fires up. This feels like there's less of a dead spot here. Ready? Isn't there more of a dead spot? With TinyWhoops, I can kind of justify stick banging a little bit because they're so low authority. But like with a 5-inch rig, there's absolutely no reason to be stick banging them bitches. Doesn't that seem like it's closer to center? Well, I can look at the values on the radio and get an actual number. So it triggers right now. It triggers at 16 on the transmitter is where it triggers. Now we're going to change that expo number and we'll see what happens. So remember 16 for me. And then we're going to plug in here. Okay. We're going to do get. No. Let's flip. Oh wait, no, it's still in the clipboard. Set space paste 35. We're going to change it to 90. This should be super drastic. And now let's see what change that makes. I mean, I have a feeling this is going to be so drastic that my head falls off, but let's see. And all right, here we go. Arming. Nope. Well, it does change it. Now it fires them up at 21. So that does make the center dead spot a little bit smaller, not drastically smaller. That's a bummer. Yeah. Let me see at what point, because I'm going to change it back, I think. Let me see at what point. I guess it's expo. It must just be expo. So let me see at what point in the stick travel this thing starts to stand up. So I'm pushing forward. That took like 85% for it to stand up and flip over. That seems like a lot. Let's flip it back down to 35. And we'll see if it should be a lot more linear. It should do that at a much lower throttle percent. Or stick deflection amount, I should say. And we're going to do set, paste. Yeah, screw it. We'll move it back to 35. So it was 90, I guess I had it at a minute ago. We're going to move it back to 35. And let's see what's up. All right, so back to 35 we go. And plugging back in. All right, and I had this upside down like this with the front end in. And crash recovery. All right, here we go. No, it had the same amount. It was at the same amount. I don't know. That seems like a pretty subtle difference. I gotta be honest. I'm not really sure what that setting does. I mean, the description of it being expo would mean that it should soften the middle of the stick travel. The default value of 35 is probably about right. That's a little bit of expo. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's a way to remove the amount of dead zone on turtle mode. But now you know it's there if you didn't know it's there. So when you're turtle moding, be gentle. Be gentle on the right stick. You can get, like on a 5-inch rig, you can get the propeller to like visibly just go like woo, woo, woo. And if it's blocked, you'll see it go and don't push that. Like when a prop is blocked, it's bad. Don't push any more into that. Everybody that had issues with AIOs blowing up because of turtle mode didn't know this, and they were just going full stick, and that's why the AIOs were blowing up. Don't do that, and your ESCs will last longer. And you'll also more gently bring the rig over. Like, how many times have you been in a hurry and you're stick banging turtle mode and the rig flips over back upside down, flips over back upside down, flips over back upside down, flips over back upside down? Why? Be gentle and go plunk, and you know, do that. Buried Alive says 2 or 3 blade better. Why? There's not really better. There's just different. 2 blades are going to be more slidey, which I prefer for freestyle. These TinyWhoops are very low weight, and they have prop guards on them, so they tend to not want to slide around. A lot of freestyle moves are based on letting the quad kind of slide around. The big boy freestyle moves, right? Like the stuff that you would normally do outside with 5-inch rigs. Well, now we've got motors that make enough power so we can start to do those big boy freestyle moves, and I find that the biblades will allow you to do that better. Not when you're sliding like this. Like when you're sliding completely flat, the ducts take up all of the ducts are what's going to be slowing it down. It's not aerodynamic at all. This is the worst aerodynamic situation possible when this thing is sliding completely flat, because you've got this whole frontal area that you need to push through, right? The whole big part of the duct. But usually you're not completely flat. Usually you're up a little bit like this. And when you're up a little bit like this, like just look at it. So when you're flat, this is what you have to fight against. And that's just physical plastic and it's there. But as soon as you, and your camera has up tilt, right? So normally in our goggles, we will just naturally have the rig tilted forward a little bit to bring the camera down. If we're sitting flat like this, that we're kind of like looking up at the sky, and that's not usually a good look. So usually we're kind of moving around like this. And when we're moving around like this, see how you can see through? Like right in here, you can see through. Back here, you can see through. So the air is going to be able to pass through. And the obstruction to the air passing through is the propellers. So the fewer blades, the less of an obstruction. So with a 2-blade prop, if you come up and you do a Matty flip, and then you zing it backwards, and you want to let it slide backwards all cool like, with 2-blade props, it's going to slide backwards farther, and you're going to get more of that really cool, like, oh my god, we're going backwards, that's the coolest thing ever. And then you can send it back forwards again. Whereas if they were 3 or 4 blades, that backwards momentum is going to get eaten up a lot quicker, because there's more of fuck it, I'm not saying that anymore because it's just a combination of letters that sucks. So yeah, do you want more slidiness or do you want more grip? 3 or 4 blade propellers are going to give you more grip in those scenarios where basically you can see through the propellers. If you ever want to, like, you know, figure it out and like, hey, every time I do this one move, I want the rig to slide more. I don't want it to just stop. If you just hold the propeller, and if you just hold the quad rather, and just visualize what that move is, you can kind of figure that out. If it's a move where it's coming like this, the number of blades on the propeller are going to have a big effect on the grippiness or the slidiness. If it's a move where the rig is tracking completely flat, the only thing you can do is remove the guards. Go to like a toothpick style rig. So yeah, there you go. Another good question. Buried Alive. It's a good one. Hold on, YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Right9 says EEDoc isn't here as you dropped Sim Sunday. Yeah, I don't know, man. Last couple times I was in the simulator, it was not fun to me. I was thinking about doing a Sim Sunday today, but I'm just, I don't know. Velocidrone apparently has like a big update coming out, so I will be back on there at some point here. But I didn't see that the update was available. What? How was their last update in 2021? That can't be right. Hold on. Is their new big update an individual download. So look, they have some specific. So there's the regular old Velocidrone, which is 17 pounds, and then there's a bunch of, it looks like they're calling it premium content. So there's a freestyle pack, discrete budget graphics, gaming card, models, Moongoat, Shocker. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I have not purchased any of these yet, but I will be. Oh, okay. So this freestyle pack is where you get that drift pack. That's drift track. That's kind of interesting. And then it looks like there's... Oh, I do have this one. I do have combat mode. So I do have this little premium content thing. Looks like there's a micro class. Betaflight 75X, TinyHawk. That's pretty slick. I mean... if I'm going to fly a micro, I'm going to do it for real, though. I don't need a simulator for micros. And then there's a mega class. Oh, that's cool. Dreadnought. Cannonball 800 Ostrich Air. Huh. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. This, I was assuming that I was going to come in here and there would be a thing that's talking about this new update. Let's take a look at their social media, because I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it. Man, I missed that fucking car. Hold on. Hold on. No, I'm not going to show you guys that. There's nothing good in there. Velocidrone. And I'm trying to figure out where the hell I saw the post that they made talking about this huge update. Was it on their actual Facebook channel here? No. Because this is stuff from 2022. This is their Facebook group, and this is where I'm assuming that I'm going to find it. No, because it was less than 3 days ago. Although, wait, no, the Facebook group's organization is just a hot mess. It was talking about like 1.5, I think. Maybe it wasn't Velocidrone. There's a chance that it wasn't Velocidrone. Look at this. This is Nick Burns' house. Kind of cool. In Dynamic Poly World. Damn. I don't know where the hell I saw that. It was either 1.5 or 1.15 it was saying. Nah, it's not in here. Oh, well. We'll get back on the sim at some point, I swear. I do want to get that freestyle pack. That's pretty cool. That is admittedly pretty cool. Adam C says, sort of just got done raking my yard. That's no fun. Kmart says, what's happening? Carlos FPV says, what ESC firmware do you use on your whoops for 48K, BlueJay, JESC, etc.? At this point, I don't really think there's any reason to run anything other than BlueJay. It's free. The 0.106 version of it is like phenomenal. 48K is almost certainly what you want. 96K seems to really sacrifice motor braking, and there's very little gains on the thrust side of things. So yeah, 48K seems to be the kind of the jam. And yeah, it's free over on esc-configurator.com. JESC was great for a little while there, but man, BlueJay seems to be just what everybody is using. I've yet to see anybody say like, hey, I moved from BlueJay to JESC or to old school BL Heli S and it was better. So yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. It's BlueJay. Ethan W says, what PWM frequency should I flash 2-inch 2S drone with? It depends, Ethan. If it's a 32K ESC, then you should do PWM low of 24 and high of 48. If it's a BLHeli-S, then you have to pick either 24 or 48. You should pick 24 if you want better motor braking, which can help with like, I'm gonna say this. 24K is gonna help with flight performance. You're actually gonna get better flight performance, all around flight performance from 24K. 99% of the time. 1% of the time, if your powertrain, your propeller, motor, battery setup is not making enough thrust for the all-up weight of the rig, 48K might help with flight performance. Because it's an underpowered setup and 48K gives you more power. If instead of flight performance, you're prioritizing power, 48K for sure. 48K is going to make more thrust. 24K is going to make more braking, motor braking. Efficiency too. If you're looking for efficiency, 48K. So what maybe you should do is put it on 48 and see if you can use the PID loop and the PID tune to get the flight performance where you want it. If you keep tuning and tuning and tuning and tuning and you can't get the flight performance to where you want it, back the tune off, go to 24K, and then retune it. And on 24K, you should be able to get a little bit more flight performance because you're going to get a little bit more braking, unless your rig doesn't have enough power. Flight performance, all around flight performance is a funny thing. It's based around thrust, braking, and all up weight, basically. And if you have enough thrust, then the additional braking is really nice, and it can really make the rig fly a lot better. You see this with CiottiWhoops a lot. You'll build a CiottiWhoop, you'll have it on 48K, you'll go to just track it straight forward, and it'll have this little bobble, and it won't go pin straight. And like no matter what you do, no matter how high you push the PIDs, no matter how low you push the I-term, it'll always just have this little bit of wobble. And what I think is going on there is that aerodynamically, CiottiWhoops are kind of a nightmare. So when you're cruising straight forward, they're just bashing through the air. Like yeah, they're like a brick, literally. Like they look just like a TinyWhoop. They're an aerodynamic brick. And so you got all this air moving around, and the PID loop is going to speed up and slow down the motors. So if it naturally wants to wobble like this because of the bad aerodynamics, when it does this, the one side is going to ramp up, the other side is going to break down. When it does this, it's going to do the opposite. So if you have 24K on your PWM, there's going to be more braking available. And the reason why that's important is because without braking, all it can do is thrust. And if you're just wanting to cruise forward at the same altitude and it runs out of braking, it's going to use thrust, and it's going to lose that altitude. It's going to fly away. And you don't want that. Like that gives you like this out of control feeling, and it also doesn't look right. Like if you're flying really low to the ground and it does that, it's gonna bounce up, and that to me looks terrible in the flight footage. So yeah, a lot of times with CiottiWhoops, you can take them from 48K to 24K to fix that little like center stick bobble that a lot of them will have. There are so many variables there, like that's you can also like try different, like that's an aerodynamic problem. So when you think about the system like holistically, you can do aerodynamic things to try to solve that. Different ducts, taller ducts, shorter ducts. Usually shorter ducts would be would help that, but we don't know, man. There's so much going on in these things that technically taller ducts might help it, because maybe just whatever the ducts that you're currently on are just a weird shape and they have a weird aerodynamic effect, and just going to a taller duct will make that aerodynamic effect change a little bit. Then you've got the whole issue of like, you know, everybody flies a little bit differently, everybody cruises at a different speed, so like you could have that bobble when you're like 20 degrees nose down. Well, maybe the solution is just to go to 25 degrees nose down, and that'll drastically change the angle of attack on the ducts, and maybe that makes the problem kind of go away. It's super interesting, man. CiottiWhoops are a really interesting engineering challenge, because like making your quad aerodynamic is a big deal. And CiottiWhoops are the least aerodynamic thing possible, because they're trying to protect the propellers from people. And so you have to have a big blocker over the outside of the propeller, and that's where there's a lot of aerodynamic stuff going on at the tip of the prop. So it's a super challenging aerodynamic situation that, you know, we're only a couple years into figuring out, and there's not a whole hell of a lot of like emphasis on that, right? Like with CiottiWhoops, it's a part of CiottiWhoops that's kind of been ignored. Like nobody really gives a shit about solving the aerodynamic problems on CiottiWhoops. Everybody just cares about designing a new frame that's different from their last frame so they can hawk a whole shitload more of them. One of the things I love most about the CiottiXplorer is that there's like a half a dozen different ducts available, and every single one of those ducts flies completely different. And that's really cool. That's really helped me understand what the hell's going on with CiottiWhoops, and has helped me kind of tune them in. My favorite ducts thus far are the StanFPV molded ducts. My favorite thing about them is how strong they are, if I'm completely honest. They do fly really well. But yeah, they're not the tallest available. They're not the skinniest available. They have just the right amount of protection, and they're absurdly strong. And so, like, in the grand scheme of things, that's what makes them my favorite duct. The shorter the duct is, 99% of the time, the better it's going to perform aerodynamically, because it's just less of a nightmare. It's less of a brick flying through the air. The problem is when you make the ducts real small, they're no longer ducts, they're prop guards, and prop guards don't really work when you're flying around people, and if you don't want to hurt those people. If you don't care, well, then you're kind of an asshole. Sorry, but like, it's a responsibility of ours to not hurt other people. And if you're going to be flying around other people, you need to either be flying something that's so small that it's not going to hurt them, like a toothpick or a TinyWhoop, or if you're going to be flying something that's, you know, 300, 400, 500 grams, like a CiottiWhoop, you got to make goddamn well sure that you have a duct on there that's tall enough to really protect the propeller, so that if you get into them, it's not going to cut the shit out of them, because that's unacceptable. It is unacceptable, like on set or out in public or in any scenario, that you, having fun, are going to cut someone else's skin or like whatever, you know? So all of these new CiottiWhoops that just have these like 5mm tall ducts, it just infuriates me, because just take it off at that point. Like, unless you're flying real estate, like, okay, I get it. If you're flying, or like drift cars, or just in a scenario where there's not people, but that's not what CiottiWhoops are for. CiottiWhoops are for flying around people. I guess you could argue that CiottiWhoops are for flying very slowly too, because it allows you to go nose down and still track the same speed. So you can make that argument. But 9 times out of 10, CiottiWhoops are for flying around people. And if you're flying around people with prop guards, you're kind of a dick, because you're going to hurt somebody, and then that's going to fuck all of us, and that's not cool. So don't do it. Sorry if I just made you upset, but it's something that it's inevitably, like, mark my words, in the next 6 months to a year, something is gonna blow up, similar to like the Netflix, the actor getting injured on the Netflix set. That was not with a Nevada, but we're gonna start to see big news stories of people getting really hurt from Nevadas because they don't have a duct on them. They only have that bullshit little prop guard, and somebody's gonna get really hurt, and it's gonna be at like a wedding, or it's gonna be at a big event, and it's gonna be real bad for all of us. And I want this, like, sorry, but your feelings come second to this entire, to all of FPV. And, like, we get enough black eyes as it is. The last thing that we need is more. So, I don't know. The Avada is just absolutely horrifying to me. And, yeah, just, I'm already starting to see very irresponsible people doing very irresponsible, dumb things with them. And somebody's going to get hurt really bad, and it's going to suck for all of us. So, yeah, please don't let it be you. Good question, Ethan. Espander says, yes, tell these fools to be gentle in turtle mode. You can flip it really nicely if you're gentle with the stick. To me, it almost feels more like a delay than deadband. I mean, I would, normally I'd say like, yeah, I think you're right. But just now when I was really paying attention to moving the stick and seeing when turtle mode turned on, I don't think it could be a delay. It could be both. I mean, there's definitely that big, what do we say? It was 16 at the low setting, and it was 20 at the high setting. So there's roughly a 20% deadband in every direction. So that's a 40% deadband. Is it? No, it's still 20%. So yeah, there's a 20% window of deadband, and that's a lot. Like, we're not used to that, right? We're used to no deadband. We're used to like touch the stick at all, and immediately something happens. So that would be my theory. There is that we're just not, we push the stick at all and nothing happens. We're like, what? Like, I need turtle mode. Well, it's not there. Full stick or nothing. So. Rockcrawler says, looks like it didn't save the one. Oh, really? Did I not hit save? But we figured it out. It didn't, when I went up to 90, it didn't make a drastic difference. So, YouTube did the thing again, scrolling back up. Man, we are ranty today, yo. Be gentle in turtle mode, friends. It'll save your ESCs. Scott FPV says, what's up? Go-Kart Mozart says, you should host a GT7 lobby for FPV pilots. Never mind Velocidrone, LOL. Man, I wish more FPV people played Gran Turismo 7. I think it's just me and you, Go-Kart. I swear to God. I literally think it's just me and you that have PS4s and play Gran Turismo. Who has a PS4 out there, yo? Let's play PlayStation 4. There's SnowRunner, which is unbelievably fun. There's Gran Turismo 7, and there's Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa is asking a lot because it's a full tilt racing sim, so like, unless you're really into motorsports, yeah, it might not be your favorite thing, but Gran Turismo 7 is great. Although it's so bad that I actually let my PlayStation Plus run out because there's never anybody online that I want to play with. I mean, Go-Kart Mozart is sometimes there, but typically not. And it's just the two of us. Like, if we could find like 3 or 4 people, that would be, yeah. Who's got PS4? Anybody? Espander says maybe it was Liftoff update. It might have been. It might have been Liftoff. Or I know there's a bunch of other. 1.5 is Liftoff, Espander says. Okay. Well, I don't really care about that. I find the physics in Liftoff to be awful. Not awful, but just nowhere near what Velocidrone is. Right 9 says, sorry, the train stopped. Get that healthcare mofo. Thank you, brother. It's all good. Rusty Signals in the house. What's up, dude? MFR FPV says Micro Madness Rampage. What about it, MFR? They have not reached out to me to ask me to do it yet. But I think they forgot last year too, so I might need to reach out to them. As it gets a little bit closer, I'll reach out to Stacy and be like, hey, am I doing Micro Mayhem or what? If you want to get ready for Micro Mayhem, here's what I learned last year. I've kind of known this every year, but as of last year, we had the technology. Micro Mayhem is incredible. It's arguably the best spot to fly at all of Rampage. But you have to have you can fly it with a 5-inch, you can fly it with a 3-inch, but where Micro Mayhem is the indoor flight line. Where Micro Mayhem becomes the best flight line at Rampage is if you have something incredibly small, like one of these Ultimate Freestyle TinyWhoops, 0702, 30,000 kV, 32,000 kV on this one. The only problem with this little guy is the multipathing. The multipathing there is horrendous. So if you're just going to fly for you, it's fine. You'll be able to fly through it. If you're trying to get good footage from Micro Mayhem, you've got to get an HD0 setup or a walk snail setup. If you're going to go that route, durability is going to be your biggest enemy. Everything in there is metal or concrete. So bring spares, build extras, whatever you need to do. You're going to break some shit in Micro Mayhem no matter what. So I think the perfect setup for Micro Mayhem would be an HD0 Mobula 6 on, just like the build that I did. Switch it over to the Meteor 65 frame, and then switch it over to 0702 30,000 kV motors, Gemfan biblades, and you're going to want to bring a bunch of extra canopies. The HD0 Mobula 6 has a specific canopy, and they're not super strong. So try it, like maybe just search for, it's a nano-sized camera. There are a bunch of different canopies for that nano-sized camera. But yeah, you're going to want to bring a bunch of extra canopies. The frame will survive. When you buy a Mobula 6 HD0, it comes with the Super B AIO, which is not great. It works for a little while, but it will blow up. So like if I was to build the perfect, I just spit on myself. If I was to build the perfect HD0 Mobula 6, what I would actually do is just buy a regular old no, because then you got to get the canopy. I don't know, you price it out. What you want is the AIO from the regular Mobula 6, and then you're going to put the HD0 the lightweight setup on top. Or you could do the same thing but throw it in a Mobula 7 frame. I think that the extra 4 grams of the HD0 setup deserves to be in a 65mm TinyWhoop. Take advantage of the fact that the HD0 super lightweight setup is only 4 grams and put it into a 65mm rig. If you want to go walk snail, don't do it in a 65. The walk snail setup is 8 or 9 grams. You're going to want to put that into a Mobula 7 1S ELRS setup. And so at that point, you're going to get an X12. And do they make an HD0 Mobula 7 1S? I think they might. HD0 Mobula 7 1S. Let's see. Is there a bind and fly? There sure is. What is going on here? Look at that canopy. That's interesting. They're not using the same canopy as... Oh, that's right. That's this weird one where they put this daughter board on it with black box, and it's a, I guess it's a BEC to feed 5-volt up to the HD0 setup. This is their old school canopy. That's kind of cool. I actually really like this canopy because it pushes the camera forward a little bit. You see that? And it's a nice soft plastic. This canopy might really work well. I would just, oh, but we're talking about, yeah, so I mean, this would be good too, but in my opinion, this is not going to be as good as a 65mm rig that you're going to put HD0 on. Oh, no. This is just HD. This is not HD0. This is a split camera, isn't it? Oh, fuck you. This is just a split camera, isn't it? Where's it at? Yeah, RunCam Split 3 Lite. Nah, this is not... Well, I mean, this is interesting. This is super interesting because this would get you great footage. You're going to hate flying through the split camera because it's really limited on field of view and there's a little latency to it. So it's going to make flying harder. And inside of Micro Mayhem, you're going to have to be at the top of your game, man, because there's shit everywhere. Like, it's a really hard spot to fly at. But, yeah, no, this is not... This ain't it. This ain't it. But this would be a great platform for putting Walk Snail on there. I'm looking for what AIO it is. So it's a 12 amp AIO, and that means it's the X12. There it is. X12 AIO flight controller. Does the X12 not have a 5-volt out pad? Why do they have that external BEC on there? EvaFPV is here. What's up? Ethan says, I'm looking for more flight time. Which is better for that, 48 or 24? 48 for sure. 2-inch build has lots of power. So yeah, if you're looking for more flight time, 48K. If you're having trouble with flight performance or just want to try it with better flight performance, 24 is going to give that to you. Let's see here. Is there not a wiring diagram? Why is there never a wire? Hey, here we go. Oh, you know what it is? I bet you the only 5-volt... No, look, there's 5-volt out over here. Why do they have that external BEC? That's weird. Yeah, there's a 5-volt pad. Look at that. That's interesting. I wonder why they have that thing set up with the external BEC. Maybe it's because those old RunCam splits drew a lot of power. But I would assume that Walk Snail or HD0 are also going to draw a bunch of power. Yeah, that's weird. Wow, there's multiple 5. Good lord, there's a lot of pads on this thing. On the X12. Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, there you go. That's what I think would be your best setup for like the ultimate Micro Mayhem rig. To me, I think the ultimate, yeah, Walk Snail would be it. I think Mobula 7. 1S, Express LRS. I don't know what motors. My hunch is that you would want to do these Flywoo Robo 1002 23,500 kV motors. Maybe you could get away with the TinyWhoop 27,000 kV 1.5mm shaft 0802s, but I bet you they would start to get a little too hot. I think you'd want the 1002s for more stator volume and more cooling. Mobula 7 V4 frame for sure, because it's really durable. 450 mAh folded cell BT 2.0 batteries. You can get them from WeBleedFPV or TinyWhoop.com. I have an affiliate link to WeBleedFPV over on CiottiFPV.com. This is my full-time job. If you like these live streams and want to see them continue, head on over to CiottiFPV.com and click all the buttons. Patreon helps me out the most. You can join Patreon for as little as 10 cents a day. If you're into FPV, I know good and well you got 10 cents a day for me to keep bringing you info that's going to save you a ton of time finding it out yourself. I don't know about the X12 AIO. I'm starting to hear that the X12 AIO is not all that durable. So maybe you would want to do this. This is becoming the only... Maybe the T-Motor. I don't know. I got to get one of those T-Motor AIOs and try it out. And then... What else? The biblades. The 1.6-inch biblades. And... yeah, figure out a way to mount walk snail on there, and you've got onboard DVR, and you're going to be flying in HD with a system that demolishes multipathing. So you'll be able to see where you're going, which is super important at Micro Mayhem, because there's pipes and all kinds of shit everywhere, and you're going to get really good quality DVR. And I've been trying to figure that out for years, man. I've been. That is the tough spot. That is a tough spot to fly. Cortez Campbell says, "What's up?" RC Tom says, "Right, left, oh, what, right?" Stubby Borgman says, "I take it you don't think much of the Darwin FPV Cine Ape 25. Is that the horrendously inexpensive rig?" No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's take a look. Come on, DarwinFPV. There we go. So... I'll be damned. Finally, someone has the carbon fiber weave going in the correct direction on this top plate. Now I think less of this rig. Wow. Yeah, I think this is the only one of these pusher style rigs where anyone at the company has any brain power to go, hey, wait, let's make the carbon fiber weave go the strong direction for the arms. And that's actually a really big deal. It's a little bit less of a deal because these pusher style rigs tend to have A arms, right? Like this is the shape of an A here, which is why I call this an A arm. On a normal rig, you wouldn't have this. You would just have this, and that's not the shape of an A. So with A arms, having the carbon fiber weave go the correct direction makes a little bit less of a difference, but it still matters. For sure, it still matters. So I'm actually a really big fan of that. It looks like this is one big duct, which is not a good idea, because if you break, like you're only ever gonna break one corner, and then you have to replace the entire plastic piece, which is super annoying. That's just a missed opportunity. I'm sure that they do it. Yeah, there it is. High strength propeller guard. By making it one big piece, it is a little bit stiffer, but the carbon fiber, in theory, is going to handle the majority of the stiffness that you need corner to corner on the rig. Maybe they used the magical plastic that Foxeer used on their Unbreakable, and maybe this is an unbreakable propeller guard, but I can break anything, bro, so don't come at me with that unbreakable nonsense. This is absolutely not a quick release design. 7 screws, having to remove 7 screws is quite the opposite of quick release. That's slow release. So, what the hell? Let's see what motors they have on it. So, I mean, the frame, I'm kind of digging. Maybe it's unbreakable. If it's unbreakable, then the plastic is cool too. I doubt it is, but let's see. What motors did you guys spec out for this? This is where, so what is this, 2.5 inch? 2.5 inch is a weird size for these. It kind of locks you into only ever carrying a naked GoPro or an Insta360 Go. 2.5 inches is going to really kind of struggle more than it should against a full-size GoPro. A rig like this set up as a 3-inch is going to be like a 1/2 inch bigger, and it's going to open up carrying a lot more weight. So I think just make it 3-inch. It's not going to gain very much weight doing that. So it looks like they've got a 1504 on it, which is a really big motor, which I like. 1504 3600 kV. Somebody over there is paying attention. That's actually a really good motor choice. So 1504 might seem like a really big motor for a 2.5 inch prop, but it is a 6-blade 2.5 inch prop. A 6-blade 2.5 inch prop is going to be as draggy as probably like a 3.5 inch tri-blade propeller. And so 1504 is, you might have actually wanted to go bigger. It might actually want a 1505. But typically with these types of rigs, they put way too small of a motor on. So this is actually really good. I'm pretty impressed by this rig. What's it weigh? It's pretty heavy. It's 145 grams. Part of that is because these are big motors. 145. Let me see what... I haven't weighed one of my Cinesplores in a while. Let me see what the Cinesplores weigh. Hold on. Well, no, wait. Let me see what this QAVS weighs, which is a 2.5 inch rig. I'll be damned. 145 is not that heavy. How is it so light? Is it analog? I think it's analog. So this guy is at 178 grams. So wow, 145 is not bad at all. I really wish that the prop guards were at least 2-piece. Being 1-piece is just insane. It should at least be 2-piece, front and rear or left and right. But I can be honest that the 1-piece prop guard is the only thing that I can really pick at. I everything else I'm kind of into with this thing. I'll be damned. Hopefully, what's the electronics package? Get the fuck out of here. Tell me they don't have a stack in here. Tell me they don't have an independent ESC and flight controller in here. If they do, I'm going to send them a letter that says, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, we've got a problem here, friends. We've got a problem here, friends. See this? See that little 5 there? That 5 is bad news. Hopefully that's a typo, but I doubt it, because I think the MPU 6500 is the gyro that had all kinds of problems. Because I think it lacks... Oh, there's something. Man, I haven't... Here we go. MPU 6000... no, that's the 6050. That's not it. It's the 6500. I think the 6500 was the one that had less hardware filtering. Or no, maybe it has a magnetometer in it. That would be great. No. That's talking about this 9250. Here we go. Can sample the gyro at 8K. This also has 8K. What? Because few flight controllers are power enough to sample this sensor faster than 8K. Sensor's reputation for poor vibration tolerance is entirely due to the flight controller not using the full 32K gyro update rate. Influenced. Here's the link. I'm not going to read it through all that on stream. I seem to remember the 6500 not being a good gyro for quads. I could totally be wrong. I could be misremembering, but that's a little scary. Is it going to tell me in here? Minimum voltage supply is a little different. Service view compare. Maybe somebody in chat will remember the deal. But I think I personally had a bad experience with a flight controller that had a MPU 6500 being super noisy. So that's a little bit scary, but it kind of seems like it's got a separate flight controller in ESC, which is about the greatest thing ever. Why I can't find any ESC Blue Jay 3 to 4S 30 amp. I can't. Every single picture of this thing is just top down. Oh, there's a couple other pictures there. I wish there was a picture of the inside of it. Let's see. Does anybody have a picture of it torn down? That looks like a good rig, man. I'm not gonna like recommend it or anything because I don't do that unless I've flown it and pounded on it. This brings me right back here. This certainly looks like a separate ESC and flight controller, because here's the ESC, here are the nuts and the grommets for that, and then it certainly looks like, yeah, you can see it. This is the so like that's a really big deal, yo. Every single other one of these is using an AIO, and AIOs are the worst. So as long as that gyro, here's what I'm gonna say. As long as the electronics on this rig are decent, then this might be the best of these pusher rigs. I can't really, like, that's all I can say. But looking at it from a website, there's a lot to like. A lot to like. As long as that MPU 6500 gyro is not a deal breaker, which it very well could be. That kind of scares me. But if you can find a couple of reviews on YouTube of that thing not having... If you can find a couple reviews on YouTube where the person has flown more than one battery on it, which is pretty rare, specifically if you can find a YouTube review where the person has crashed it a bunch and it's still flying okay and it's not getting hot motors, it's not wobbling all over the place, then I think that's the best pusher I've ever seen. What do you think of that? You guys thought I was going to slay it, didn't you? I don't rag on things just for the sake of ragging on them, usually. Denzel the Terrible says, I'd play Assetto if my internet was fast enough. Expander says, just checked on my 3-inch and it is a deadband. Oh, cool. My motors started to spin at 17 in all directions. Now I think deadband is there just because the motors can't spin slow. I think the deadband is there for safety reasons, personally, but because they will spin pretty slow. And like, our throttle, for example, you know, the motors start picking up at the bottom. But yeah, it's interesting. Expander says, especially if they're in the grass, still talking about the turtle mode conversation. Man, I'm really far behind on chat. Let me get caught up here. Oh, wait, no, it's not that bad. Michael D says, you can get the X12 Lite, no VTX. That is the black box logger on the Mobula 7 HD, not a BEC. So you're telling me that they just put a black box logger on that thing just for the sake of putting a black box logger on it? It's not a black box logger and a BEC? That's a little weird, isn't it? That's a little strange. What's up, Chase? Brandon's Big Bean says, dang, Darwin looking good in 2023. Darwin, you know, they've had a couple of things where I've been like, ooh, all right. I think they get a little bit of a bad reputation for that $99 or $89, whatever the hell it is, 3-inch rig. But that 3-inch rig, for what it is, I mean, the fact that they sell a sub $100 3-inch freestyle-ish rig, that is remarkable. I don't think it has any value for any of us because the frame is not good enough, the motors are terrible. But for somebody that's not going to get into FPV, that just wants a rig to fly, it doesn't get any better than that thing, I don't think. Or somebody that's just like looking, like, you know, my first rig was $100, and I specifically bought it because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. I wish I could tell my past self, like, yo, you're going to enjoy the shit out of this. But yeah, $100, crazy. So yeah, I don't know. And to be honest, that $100 rig, if the flight controller and ESC are even half decent, it's still worth it. Because you get it, you put it up in the air until the frame breaks or the motors cook, and you replace those two things. And the rest of the rig, it was worth it at that point, right? Like, you can't even get an ESC for less than $100, but just an ESC nowadays for less than you can, but I'm being insane. So yeah, there's that. I wish they'd made that frame a little bit better, because they would not have to do much to make that frame on that $100 rig a little bit better, and that would make it a lot stronger. And then the motors are the only, and it wouldn't cost them anything more. And then the motors are the only weak point. So you buy the $100 rig, and that's kind of nice, because the motors that you run on a rig are like 80% of the flight experience, and the thing that you're going to use to dial that rig into what you specifically want to do. Long range, bashing, cinematic, regular freestyle, tree cruising, right? Like all of these different, very specific ways that we fly. The motors are the thing that really affect that the most. So if you were able to buy a 3-inch rig for $100 that had a half decent frame, half decent electronics package, ESC and flight controller, and a horrible set of motors, that's not a bad deal. You throw it up in the air until the motors blow up, or not. Or you just buy it, it's already built, you desolder the motors, solder on a set of 1204s if you want to keep it light, 1404s if you want to be somewhere in the middle, 1504s, whatever. Like, that would be pretty gnarly. Brandon McBean says, in theory, it is a far superior device to MPU 6000. There are a few issues with it. First and foremost, it is far more sensitive to vibration than the MPU 6000, so that's it. The MPU 6500 was on it was a stack that was pinned, and it was made by Airbot. I had two of them, actually. I got a really good deal on them. It was a flight controller and ESC, and they were pinned together. And
is the vacuum cleaner that, like, you use the second cup, is that thing,
yeah, it's over under the workbench. Look for the big red and black thing with the you'll see it. It's in the middle of the workbench on the bottom.
Okay.
Celia's the best. I live with the coolest people on earth. I live with the greatest 3 humans I've ever met. Yeah, the MPU 6500 was on this weird flight controller, and it, in the grand scheme of things, it was just too sensitive. It did not like. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Cool. It did not like anything other than the cleanest clean setup with the PIDs turned all the way down. If you tried to move the PIDs up to get the flight performance half decent, or if you crashed the rig even once, it was just game over. Brains Baked Beans also quotes, MPU 6000 soft mounting is not normally required. MPU 6500 will greatly benefit from it. It is frequently even essential. Brandon says the MPU 6500 is just way more sensitive, so it can get the same performance, but you'll be doing things differently. The filters can be the same pretty much, but the PID's got to be low. That is a shame. I wonder why they're using that gyro. That is weird. That is very weird. So yeah, here's the thing. They did use a separate ESC and flight controller, so you could get it and just swap the flight controller out. But man, nowadays flight controllers are kind of expensive, and God only knows if you can find a flight controller that fits. You probably would be able to, so it's probably still a really good rig. Very strange, very strange that they've used that flight controller. I have gyro. I have not seen that. I kind of forgot about this 6500. But yeah, I have personally had a terrible experience with that gyro in the past. Michael D says, never mind on the X12 Lite, only seeing V1 with the ICM 2689. Michael D says, the black box on the Mobula 7 HD was advertised to use on gyro flow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Good call, Michael D. All right, we're caught up on chat. Oh my God. Yo, let's fly the ghost rig. Look how cool this looks. Come on now. Look how cool that looks. Is that not the best looking TinyWhoop you've ever seen? Can you guys hear the vacuum cleaner upstairs? Is it driving you insane? Let me know and I can shut the door. Isn't that cool? Motherfucking Ebony and Ivory up in this bitch. Come on now. What should I fly, Ebony or Ivory? I'm gonna fly Ivory. Because Ivory is on these 0603 26,000 kV motors with these Gemfan 1.2 inch prototype propellers, and I'm trying really hard to kind of dial in on the flight differences between the higher KV 0702s and biblades versus these 0603s. I'm very interested in. Very interested, because the 03 stator height, why are these unplugged? Oh, because I switched it. I actually switched these motors from a black frame to a clear frame just to do this little build here. Just to have the all clear build. Yeah, the 0603s take advantage of the stator height giving you more bang for your buck when it comes to power versus weight. These 0603s are heavier than 0702s, but they have significantly more stator volume, and they are not as heavy as 0802s, but I think that they'll make more power than 802s. I really need to test that one of these days. I need a 26, in order to properly test, I need a 26,000 kV 802. Does anybody know? Well, and it has to be made by Happy Model. Does Happy Model have a 26,000 kV 802? All I need is one, but you can't buy just one. 27,000 kV, that's pretty close. 702, 802, 20,000, 70,500. Let's see. 25,000, 27,000, 30. 25,000, damn. Nobody has a 26,000. So balls. So it's not a fair. Well, no. I think motor limiting effects. So I have to test that. So I can see if motor limiting affects turtle mode. I think it does. So I'll test that first, and then I can motor limit down the 30,000 kV 802s to 26,000 kV, and then we can put them on our little half-assed thrust stand scale, and we'll see. I think the 0603 should make more power than the 0802, though. EVFPV says, so annoyed at this bad flight controller. About 80% of the time when I'm plugging it in, it doesn't have a gyro. I've had such a hard time with flight controllers over the last 2 years. Oh my God. It feels like worse than 50% of flight controllers have bad gyros. That's super annoying, Eva. Jesus. Not of This World says, I'm assuming that's on the lifter too. That's super annoying. Not of This World says, another catch with DarwinFPV is that the motor mounts are weird. 8mm by 8mm, so you can't replace motors with anything but Darwin's. Oh, you assholes. Oh, you goddamn morons. I mean, you can kind of drill them out, but by drilling them out, you're never going to have the motor be centered. Oh, that's super annoying. Oh, that's super annoying. Oh. EVFPV says, was able to confirm everything else is working, though. Oh, that's really annoying. Not of This World says, it snapped the shaft, didn't lose the bell. The shafts are like toothpicks, infamous for their weak shafts. Oh, that's really annoying. I assume you're talking about Darwin, Not of This World? That's real dumb. That's real dumb. All right. It's like that with their $100 rig because those infinitely cheap motors that they're running were originally designed for a stupid little photography drone. And then those motors got used on my very first rig ever, the original white plastic Baby Hawk. And yeah, it's why Emax was able to sell the Baby Hawk for $100, and it's also why Darwin is able to sell their $100 rig for $100, because they're paying basically nothing for those motors. Because there were like billions of those motors made, and then the silly little photography drone that they were made for never. Oh, farts. Well, we're gonna go props in, friends, because the motors are not spinning the right direction right now. So I said it earlier, and yeah, this is our chance. Oh man, this has propellers that are hard to get off, but we're gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna use the chip lifter to, as gentle as possible, get these props off. I'm not gonna be able to like tell a difference here. What are those goggles? This is VR. We're in the future. Yeah. This is the WeHot chip lifter. This is the way to get TinyWhoop propellers, stubborn TinyWhoop propellers off. It's really the best way that I've found. And there's a link to it down below in the description of this video, in the description of all my videos. It's really, like, it's not meant for this, but you would swear that it's meant for this. Like, it perfectly fits on the shaft. It's got this perfect little angle to it, and it's just amazing. What's happening up there? Why has he lost his mind? The dog is just in full-blown kill everything mode. All right, props in. Wow, that looks weird. Wow, that looks so weird. Duke, come on! Why? There's never anything that requires a dog to bark. Never. Never, ever, ever. There's never a reason for it. Can you guys hear that? Is it annoying? Because I can go beat him if you need me to. It's on you guys, though. Chase says, going to work for the night. Have a good one. Get well soon. Thank you, brother. June Logo says, what type of rig would you run 0603? A rig that you wanted a little bit more power than 702s. So like, you know, a heavier, slightly heavier 65 mil TinyWhoop. Or maybe they'll work well on 1.6 inch props, maybe. So I have to plug this into Betaflight, even if the motors are turning the. I think these motors are all plugged in completely backwards, but I need to reverse the motor yaw thing in Betaflight, no matter what. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll fly. Betaflight. Why does Betaflight take so long to launch lately? Why? So, motor direction. Wait, nope. Hold on. We're gonna switch that, which is the weirdest thing ever. And then let's hook back up. I don't know what it is about dogs barking, but it just drives me crazy. Always has. All right, here we go. Start and spin motors. So we are props in now. So motor 1 is correct. Motor 2 is wrong. Click that. Motor 3 is correct. Motor 4 is wrong. There we go. Stop motors, close, and we're good. We are props in, friends. That's weird. Man, it looks weird, it feels weird, but we're gonna do it anyway. That's what she said. Here we go. Time to smash. Props in. Wow, what a time to be alive. We've gone full circle, yo. We've gone full circle. Oh boy. Oh, there's problems. Oh man. Something's happening. The tune is very upset. Oh boy. What is that about? What? This is not an HD0 rig. How are you gonna go full rainbow? What? What is this shit? So there's really no reason for the tune to be all angry. Oh no. Did I just lose the camera? What? No. No. Don't do that. Hold on, maybe it's too hot. All right, let's see. No, no, no. No, no, no. What? Why? How? What? What the shit is this? Why would the camera have died? In what world? Bueller? No. 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 None of this makes any sense. Hold on. Maybe I cranked the canopy down too hard and it's rubbing somewhere on the frame. So I took this rig out of a no. Why do things break? Oh, I'm so tired of things breaking. Duke okay? What's he doing? I don't know. Barking. Why? What's he barking at? Oh man. I don't want to take it apart. I just had it apart. I don't wanna. God damn it. I kind of have to crap too. Can't we get some reliable whoop gear up in this bitch? Is that too much to ask for? Michael D says you got up to 170 degrees. Jesus Christ. That's why you don't... It's really stupid to keep flying it around with the pid loop freaking out like that. But what I have had happen on a couple of rigs is that when the battery is fully charged, on a couple of these TinyWhoops, is that when the battery is fully charged, it's a little bit upset like that. But then as soon as the voltage comes down a little bit, it chills out. I mean, that's not a good situation, but I was just trying to see if it would do that for a second. Kevin Sumner says, have you tried the Flywoo camera yet? I haven't. I almost bought one, but then I realized that they don't have any mounting holes in them. So there are no... You can only mount that in Flywoo's camera mount, unfortunately. Okay, so the AIO is now popped up. Let's plug a battery in. This will basically tell me if it's just the wiring. Nope, it's not the wiring. The camera just shit the bed. The camera just... Hey, hey! Hey, there we go. What's happening? Got something. Yeah, balls. Okay. Alright, so there's some shit going on here. Let's keep messing with this. Let me do this. I did. I'm gonna take the camera out of the canopy. and see if maybe it comes back to life. So you do have to, with these Modulus 6 canopies, you have to put screws into the corners of the cameras. And I guess maybe I over-tightened or something. Let me take a quick look. Look at that hair. A bad hair day. Still feel like crap. Leave me alone. So what it seemed like is when I pushed on one of the components in the corner, it's what took it from the camera from not being on to giving me that weirdo rainbow mode. So I think it's a component in this corner of the camera down here. Let me just try this. So I took it out of the canopy. Maybe the screws from the canopy were somehow digging into it. Let's see what we got. Yep. So we're back. So the screws in the canopy are a little bit too long, and they must be digging themselves into... Yep, you can see it on the one side. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Can't see it on the other side, though. That's... Oh, wait, no. The screw hole is down low. So... That's not what I'm seeing there. Well, that's weird. What the hell? Okay. Can't say I completely understand that one, but it's an easy fix. It's kind of obvious that I pulled the screws that hold the canopy to the... So this camera sits on a bracket. Let me show this to you guys in case you haven't seen it before. So the RunCam Nano... Hold on. I'm going to show you on this one. On this little cam here. All right. So you got your canopy. And then you've got these two screws, these two specific screws that go into the sides of the canopy, either side of the canopy. And they go into this little bracket here that you have to screw to the camera. See that plastic bracket? Yeah. And then see, there's the holes on the side of that guy. And what I guess is happening is that those screws are a little too long, and they're going through that plastic bracket and touching the PCB and shorting it. So I'm just going to shorten up these two little screws, and then all will be right with the world. I'll bet. Let's find out. Just really quickly hit them with a diamond file here, and I'm assuming we'll be good to go in no time. And the pointy part of these screws is not needed. So there's not going to be any negatives to doing this. I need to hold this thing a little bit better than my fingers can. So let's throw it a little pair of pliers here. And cool, that one's done. Let's get this other one. Ah, shitters. Of course I dropped it. There it is. I know, transmitter, I know. You're upset. Hey, the magnifying glass on a chain. Hey, the M4 stick end kit came back. So if you have a transmitter that uses M4 stick ends and you're a patron, you can rent out every single M4 stick end that's in stock on the internet and try them yourself. Head on over to the Stick and Dick Ends Patreon channel, Discord channel for more info. Well, there we go. That's all there is to it. Let's see if that fixed the problem. I can't imagine that it didn't, because the camera works totally fine all of a sudden. And it's not going full rainbow anymore. So here we go. We're going to take our newly shortened screws. And admittedly, this is kind of hard to do. I'm not going to show you this because it's just too fiddly. I'm just going to get this thing back in here and we'll put this guy back up in the air. That's weird, man. I have not had that problem on any of these guys. On any of these Mobula 6 canopy with camera setups. And I've got like a half a dozen of them. So that's a little weird. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the plastic in this clear one is a little bit thinner or something like that. I guess that could explain it. It's kind of the only explanation. I am using the screws that they included. I'm not using like the screws from the gray ones. Maybe it's just me. I hope this is not the deal with all of these clear canopies, though. That would be annoying. That would be very annoying. Although it's a very quick fix. But, I mean, like, requiring everyone to do this fix would be very annoying for Jesse and or anybody else that decides to sell these clear canopies. Okay, get in there, you little bastard. All right, there we go. There's the one on the other side. And there's really nothing to see here. I'm just... Ow! Damn you! Fell out. The trick is to screw these things in like most of the way till the screw peeks through a little bit, and then yeah, and then it just makes it easier to kind of mount this. Okay, so it goes in there like that. It's all what's making this a lot harder is that I'm not unplugging the camera, and there's no reason for me to not unplug the camera. So now I've unplugged the camera, and it'll become 10,000 times easier. There, and Maggie and I watched Superbad last night because in 3 days now, Superbad will be leaving Amazon Prime. I cannot... If you haven't seen Superbad, maybe watch it. If you've seen Superbad, if you watched it way back in the day, you're good. No need to revisit it. I'm not going to say that it didn't hold up, but it's... I don't know. It's one of those movies that, like, I kind of had this moment where I was like, man, and I was really into that. Like, oh, I did not have great. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. When it came out, it was really funny. But now, it's also one of these movies that, as I was rewatching it, I was like, man, we've gotten a lot better at making movies over the last 20 years. So yeah, not bad, but not one that I would say like run out and rewatch it. Anchorman, on the other hand, totally has held up. Wedding Crashers totally has held up. But yeah, Superbad, I mean, if you got somebody in your house that hasn't seen it, maybe go for it. But I don't know. Wasn't that great? I wasn't like disappointed though. I'll say that. Like there were still some funny moments. I wasn't like heartbroken. It didn't not hold up that bad. That's why I'm not saying like specifically like, it didn't hold up, it sucks. But yeah. Who has memories of that movie being really funny? Was it, am I the only one? I remember that movie being hysterical. And like the whole McLovin thing was just, yeah, I my memories of that movie are that it was absolutely insane in a good way. Okay, so now that the camera's gonna work again, we can talk about the tune going to hell on this rig. I think I might have noticed this once before with a TinyWhoop, semi-recently, that I switched it from props out to props in, and the tune went ballistic. That doesn't make any sense from a vibration standpoint. Where it could make sense is from some kind of like a weird aerodynamic standpoint. But I think I just figured it out. I noticed that this clear canopy was a little bit like warped, like a little bit bent. And now I'm really noticing it. This front part of the canopy is like drastically sticking up. So I need to bend this down. Hopefully it doesn't break in the process. Yeah, this canopy, it's just not sitting perfectly on the frame. And that's not good. Everything needs to kind of line up. Like I noticed it when I was mounting the canopy, like the screw holes weren't perfectly lining up. So I just kind of screwed them in a fashion that it wouldn't really matter. Like I screwed the two sides in first. But stuff like that does matter when you have like a really high performance kind of setup where you got everything cranked up. So let's see if that's a little better. Oh yeah, that's way better. Yeah, that's way better. I think what was happening is the canopy was hitting the UFL in the front there. So this should be better. Let's see. No, it's still not happy. To reduce the number of variables going on here, I'm going to need to put this back to props out just to kind of isolate this canopy being the issue, I think. Or I could put a smoke crotch gray canopy back on it. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. Well, I mean, I guess it also might have had a bunch of electrical noise from that screw digging into the camera. So let's do this. Let's throw these screws on. And let's just throw it back up in the air real quick. Abraham says, who is it that you recommend for graphic design again? CiottiFPV is our resident graphic designer doing all kinds of cool shit. Yeah, this clear canopy, it does not line up as well with the holes in the frame as the black ones do. Admittedly, this is not a happy model frame, but that shouldn't matter. The frames all have the same measurements. So at the moment, my hunch is that the tune going bananas is related to this canopy more than anything else. But we're gonna isolate that. So I'm not going to crank these screws in as much as I did before. and let's see what happens. I'm just going to leave that screwdriver out because I have a feeling I'm going to need it again in a minute. All right, so let's see if, let's see if the camera comes on first and foremost. Son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? What the hell? What? In what world? Backing out the screws on the canopy. No difference. The camera is plugged in. It's not the plug. Alright, this is... Michael D says it was funny for us at the time, talking about Superbad. Denzel is also doing graphic design. And then PJ says, missed a start for more gym whooping. What's good, CiottiFPV and Ganglies? As much as I want to fly this rig, I'm not in the mood to troubleshoot it. And I did tell you guys I was going to fly a little bit. So let's put another one of these TinyWhoops up in the air, and then I'm going to troubleshoot that thing on my time. Maybe that camera is just dead, and it just happened to come back to life a minute ago. Wow, that's weird. Jesus, that's very strange. What the hell? Why? What? What is happening with that? Battery's dead. No, no, no! Don't make me chase you. Small quad. Hey. Okay. Man, I'm all angry now. What is happening with that? What? Why would that camera betray me like this? How dare you? It's not one of the good cameras, luckily. This is one of the good old school Runcam Nano 3s. Man, I will say this. So this is the rig with the 30,000 kV 0702s. The throttle resolution is noticeably worse on the 32 on these 32,000s. Let me add a little bit more throttle expo though, and that should take care of that. See if I can't land it? Oh man, I might have to go get that. That might be like weirdly perfectly in the little pocket of the poo-poo. Look, I already tried. It did add a little bit more. We'll go up to 45. See if I can take this back off. Come on! There we go, we good. I mean, there will be a point with these high kV motors where the throttle resolution just becomes like unbelievably bad. So this is Mega Couch. I call this Mega Couch. And it's great for taking naps on. That's about all it's good for, though. Oh my god. It's like I did it on purpose. Good lord, these 32,000s have some fucking poke, though, don't they? Ow, you jerk, how dare you. Ooh, Mega Couch. Trying to get me. See how I'm kind of bouncing up and down a little bit, elevation-wise? There's just so much power in this throttle throw. But I mean, I can still fly nice and low. Like, the scenario where it's going to be the toughest is this gap right down here. And I can still do it. It's just not quite as easy. But the trade-off is mad power. Fuck you! Don't eat me! Ah! Tried to force it. Never force it, friends. Never force it. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't do it. Oh, God. That was a piss-poor attempt at a Matty flip. Oh, boy. That was hot. Oh, the rejection. Oh, boy. I'm right in front of my face. Don't get it stuck in your hair, idiot. There we go. We good. Fine. Oh, it ate me. Can't sleep. Clowns will eat me. So I've got the sim rig back over here. I think this is the proper setup for this wall. I think the sim rig not folded up, and then this shelf moved over a little bit. And I'm gonna put either one or two little pieces of artwork there, and we're done. Oh, God, this battery. Oh, boy, this... Oh, wow. That was an aggressive landing. Very aggressive. Michael D says, plug another camera in. See if it's the camera or the VTX. Remember, it was at 170 degrees before it went to rainbow. So the OSD was completely fine. So it's definitely the camera. And like as I was touching the camera, it was coming on, coming off. It was going rainbow. So I'm 99% sure it's the camera. The dead giveaway is that the OSD was there, and the OSD was like completely rock solid when the screen was gray. So yeah, that kind of rules out the VTX. But stranger things have happened. I'm gonna do one more battery, and I'm gonna do it on the 30,000 kV rig with the TinyWhoop Pinchcam, and then I'm gonna shut this down and get some more rest because I'm still not feeling great. Hopefully tomorrow night at 10 I'll be back on my feet, feeling strong and virile again. Yay! This is on a 15-degree pound mount with the TinyWhoop pinch camera. Slightly lower kV motors. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. No, no, no. I'm not going to be able to get it out of there, am I? Man, that is deep under that couch. It's pretty rare. I can usually just kind of sneak it out of there, but... Oh, it's all the way under the couch. Holy crap. Can you guys tell the difference between cameras? This is the TinyWhoop Pinchcam. I don't know if I can, man. It's pretty subtle. Pretty sure this camera is a little bit wider, though. That's a hot little move. I've always kind of I've been trying to figure out a good transition between this and these doubles, and I think I just found it. You got to carry some momentum, and then oh, okay. It's beginner's luck, I guess. And this will work on both sides, which is kind of cool. Gonna come through. It was beginner's luck, that first one. It's a little harder than I thought. Oh! Yikes. Alright, here we go. Oh! Let's see. Oh my God, I can't even make it through the tunnel yet. This time anymore. Yeah, okay. So the trick is you just add a little bit of roll at the end of it, and that closes the gap. and then you can throw the yaw rotation in at the last second. That first time I did it, though, it was the cleanest. It looked fucking great. No, no, no! Do not break the bar cart. Oh my god. Rejected. Oh! Let's see how the reception is with this small antenna upstairs. Wow, it's totally clean on the rapid fire. How is it on the stream? Let's land on the corner here. How's it on the stream? Wow, it's really clean. I thought I was having problems with this small antenna a while ago, but this is doing well right now. Let me check the VTX settings, though. Let me make sure it's at 25 million watts. That's what it stands for, right? Million? Yeah, it's at 25. Okay. Damn. Here we go. Battery's dead, of course. Oh, no. Oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oy! We made it. Let's go back to the other rig. We'll go back to the other camera. Camera seems darker. Interesting. I haven't noticed that. Let's go back. This is kind of a pointless comparison, though, because this is the OG RunCam Nano 3, which you can't even get anymore. But I'm trying to figure out which camera like I'm going to run. So comparison makes sense for me, but that's about it. Yeah, Barry, I've all my life I've saved all my old video game systems, so I now have them set up. Finally, there's a PS2. There's my PS1, which no longer works, which kind of bums me the fuck out. Original NES, Super Nintendo, 64. That's where the PS2 normally goes, and then PS3 here, and then PS4. And someday I'll rob a bank and I'll be able to afford a PS5. Okay, this battery is shot. What's the deal here? Jesus. This battery was reading low initially, and this battery is kind of chewed up on the corner. I don't know what the hell happened. Looks like a rat chewed at it, but yeah, it's kind of angry. You guys can't really see it, but this battery might need to be retired. Fuck it. I only have 2 batteries left. Let's fly them both, and then we'll shut this shit show down. I feel a lot better, but I'm still not quite there. There we go. 4.27. That's a good battery. Ah! Tried to force it. Tried to, like... Oh, God! Man, I'll tell you what. These 32,000 kV 702s, they make, like, a lot more power. It's not a little more power. It's a noticeable increase in power with these things. It's really something else. Jesse's willing and wants to go to 34,000. I don't really know if we need it though. This is already hard to fly inside. But I mean, with a 34,000, you can always just motor limit it down. Oh God! Oh. Can I link together a Matty flip on this one and then fly backwards through the doubles? I don't know how I'm going to gain my elevation back. Because to get the rearward momentum of the Matty flip, you gotta really drop elevation. That's another way to do that. This is the safest spot to do that in. That's a very ugly version of it, but... Oh boy, don't do it there. You'll bash into the door. No, no! It got me. The shelf got me. Okay. Hey, don't kill. No! I love cutting corners like impossibly tight like that. No! When like once you've flown a spot a million times and like you know exactly where the corners are, you can kind of start playing that game. It's fun. Here's the M4 stick ends. They're back. I peeled off. There was like 1,000 layers of tape on the box, so I sat there on the couch and peeled it all off. Not all of it, but most of it off. Ooh, is that a new gap there? So, oh God, I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh my God, where am I? Oh my God, where am I? Oh no! No! Oh, I'm inside the Torval bag. That ain't gonna work. Wait, no. Where the hell am I? Wait, what? Where is it? Where are you, little friend? Where are you, little buddy? I don't know where you are. Let's turn on the beeper. Oh, it's in the other bag. I see it. I see you. This place is a mess, man. I need to fucking clean this place up. It's just ridiculous. See, that right there. That amount of float, that amount... oh, God. That amount of, like, throttle pop and then just float inverted, slowly, like, laying itself out over the couch. That's what the 32,000s can do. The 30s come close. But, like, you have to hang on the throttle a second longer so you don't get quite as much of the floatiness. Oh, that's a son of a bitch. I hate when it falls down behind here. I really like, oh, come on. Why you gotta do me like that? Okay. I'm looking for you. Where you at, little guy? Where are you? Where is it? Oh, man, it's farther over. I got it. There it is. Okay. The beeper is a little bit louder than I remember it being. Alright. I think I just saw Denzilla's out of here. Thanks for hanging, dude. Oh no! Oh no! Oh God. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, one more quick battery, and then we out. Let's do a quick camera comparison. Put it on the corner here, and okay, I can see the speaker on the left side. So I'm gonna plug the other rig in with a TinyWhoop Pinchcam. See where that speaker is. Okay, pinch camera, which is slightly lower up tilt, which will have an effect on this little test here. What? Okay, so it's actually less field of view, because here's that camera over here, or the speaker rather. That's interesting. Huh. I thought this was slightly wider field of view. Interesting. So now we're back to the 30s. Let's do that same move. Let's do that same couch throw kind of move. Ready? Farts. It is a throttle blip. It's not a throttle hang. Like, that was me hanging on the throttle for a little bit longer. Let's try it again. Yeah, see, it's just not, I can't lay it out quite as much as I can with the 30s. I mean, I could just get the basically doing like a throttle blip. Just yep, right? Just like a throttle blip. Yep. With the 32,000s, it gets me consistently closer to the ceiling than the 30s. Like just doing a blip. Yep. With the 30s, see where it, like, look at where the height is. So when we're down by the floor, blip. And now, like, could I just blip the throttle longer? Sure. But there's a pacing. And it also has to do with, like, are you holding elevation before you do the blip? Are you coming down and then blipping? Right? So there's a lot of things that go into it. The most important, but the way that you fly is baked into your brain, right? So like, you can force yourself to fly differently, which is going to take a while, or you can choose the motor that works the best with your current, like, whatever, your current sort of, in this case, timing is what we're really talking about. We all have like this timing in our head of how long a throttle blip needs to be. And yeah, so I try to pick gear that makes me have to do the least amount of work. And that especially becomes important when you fly a bunch of different rigs. 3-inch, 5-inch. If you can put powertrains on the rigs that reduce the amount of relearning that you have to do every time, it's going to make a big deal. It's going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to make your flying better, too. So, if I can get that throttle blip just right... Oops, no, that was absolutely not just right. So, up. There's no... I don't know how the hell I'm going to be able to get it caught and then pull the elevation up to go backwards through this. I don't think that's a... See, because it just... You end up down low. Oh no! We're good. Oh, that was just a piss poor attempt. Man, it looks cool to just do front flips through the gates, to be honest. That's just a cool look. Whether or not you turn that into a Matty flip, that's just a cool looking thing to do. Ah, no, don't go in the thingy again. Oh, boy. Some days you got it. Some days you don't. Today's one of those days where I don't got it. But that's okay, because I hung out with my best friends. And we did some smashing and... Oh, yeah, I didn't put any music on. Supercell, holy hell. How's it going, Billy? How you been? A blast from the past. All right, friends. I'm going to go lick my wounds and continue to try to feel better. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern! We'll hang out again. I hope I'm feeling a little bit better. A little bit more energy. Just tired, man. I'm just exhausted. But I've been sick. So, you know, that's what happens. Look at this, I got some build bags. I got some TinyWhoop build bags going on. We'll talk about them later. There are some sticker... I've remade some sticker packs. I've got the holographic and the holographic and glossy sticker pack. It's a holographic CiottiFPV logo sticker, holographic Gangly Gang sticker, and a shiny window cling Micro King window cling thing. $10 for sticker packs. PayPal me. Tell me which sticker pack you want with your address, and I'll mail it out to you. And then there's the mat pack. It's the mat pack, yo. It's a mat CiottiFPV sticker. I have rabies. What's happening? It's a matte CiottiFPV sticker, a matte Gangly Gang sticker, and a matte Micro King sticker, not a window cling. So yeah, the sticker packs are back. $10 via PayPal. Put your address in there. Tell me if you want the matte pack or the shiny pack. I'll send you some stickers. CiottiFPV.com. Click some buttons. Love you. Be good. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I can't believe that I'm gonna have to fix this thing. It's been working fine. And what a weird thing to have to fix. Very strange. Bye-bye! Here's some flying. Thanks for hanging, friends. Alpha High School. Yeah, let's play the rest of this. Let's put this on. Floating Leaf. There we go. Some flying from Alpharetta High School. See you guys later.